If you've clicked on this video and you already have a pretty good idea of what anthropology is, then I suggest that you skip ahead in the series to watch some of our more specialized content. If you're new to the subject though, in this episode of Off the Shelf, we're going to talk about anthropology in the broadest sense, and some of the problems that stem from common textbook definitions.
You know what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not your enemy. I'm a scientist.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
The term anthropology, which we can trace back to the 15th or 16th centuries, stems from two ancient Greek words. One, anthropos, meaning man or human, as distinct from the gods, and two, logos, meaning subject matter or study. So, strictly speaking, anthropology is the study of humanity. That can include the early hominids and even primates, but more commonly the term refers to the scientific study of human societies, languages, cultures, and the material remains of those cultures. If you read a textbook in North America, anyway, you'll probably find that the authors divide anthropology into 4 subfields. Now, I don't like this personally, but it's very common. So the first subfield is physical or bioanthropology, which focuses on the evolutionary origins and diversity of our species, of Homo sapiens. This can include fields like paleoanthropology, the study of human fossils, genetics, as well as behavioral ecology, which is the study of behavioral adaptation to environmental conditions from an evolutionary perspective, as opposed to a cultural perspective. The second subfield is archaeological anthropology, or just archaeology. This is the study of the material remains of human activity, looking at artifacts, the remains of structures, and what they call biofacts, things like animal bones, plant seeds, or charcoal that are passively consumed by humans, but reveal a great deal about how we've responded to our surroundings in different historical or prehistorical periods. The third subfield is linguistic anthropology, which is very much not my field. But I think it's fair to say that linguistic anthropologists are interested in how language influences social life. In particular, they work on the subject of linguistic enculturation, the ways in which learning a language socializes you as you become a member of a community and adopt new cultural practices. The fourth and final subfield is social and cultural anthropology. And most often, when people say, I'm an anthropologist, right? This is what they mean. They're a social and cultural anthropologist. So I want to linger here for just a minute. And there's a minor distinction between social and cultural anthropology that I might cover in a different episode. But for our purposes, think of sociocultural anthropology as the study of culture, cultural history, and variation. This includes things like material anthropology, studying the culturally bound objects that surround us in architecture, fashion, textiles, coinage, tools, and that kind of thing. And a material anthropologist might, for example, study the usage or trade of those objects, as well as the perception of those objects within the culture in question. It would also include economic anthropology, political anthropology, and the anthropology of religion, as well as a bunch of other related fields. And actually each of these big 4 are, in practice, broken up into loads of independent and very well established fields of research. Which brings me to my last point, the problem with presenting anthropology as the big 4. As it's taught sometimes in North America, this presents anthropology as a relatively unified field with a homogeneous vocabulary and a shared vision of scientific inquiry, similar to something like the environmental sciences or engineering, for example. And that can be very misleading. In many cases, disciplines within anthropology fail to communicate with one another because they have different intellectual histories, different theoretical vocabularies, and they use different methods, different ways of collecting data. And at the end of the day, history, theoretical lexicon, and method are the things that help us to understand and establish what an academic discipline actually is. So, in a sense, where some hard scientific fields, like the environmental sciences or engineering, are much more unified in practice, anthropology, when presented as the Big Four, is a much more heterogeneous field than most textbooks would have you believe. If you like that episode, please like and subscribe. We're just getting the channel started, but we're also going to be producing a lot of content in the coming months, so keep an eye out for more videos in the future. And in the meantime, have a great day.